Hello everyone, it's Fallout 4 Guy here and welcome to part 1 of the behind the scenes video for my Surviving the Seasons build that I recently just finished. It's in 2 parts just because of, well, time really, so the video doesn't go too long. I will upload them both at the same time, so don't worry, you'll have to wait for part 2, but I just, I think, well, I record these live, so I think this might run on longer than I want, so I don't know, but yeah, part 2 will be at the same time. Anyway, so if you haven't seen the behind the scenes videos before, what I do is I walk around in workshop mode and show you all the bits and bobs that have gone into the build and talk about sort of the the mindset behind certain things and why I do what I do. And but at the same time, if you haven't seen the original video tour, I say this in all the behind the scenes, go watch that first. It's the links in the description. Very, very important on this build more than any. I spent a lot of time on the video for this one. It's not just a normal tour where I walk around and show you like a bathroom or whatever. There's like a little mini movie to it, and it's the way I want you to kind of view this video or this build. So please go watch that first. And if you have seen it already, then you know what the crack is. So okay, I need to just have a little think about how I'm going to start this off, because I record these live, so I don't want to just ramble on about stuff, but I suppose I'll start with just why I decided to build a snow build. The main reason was that I hadn't seen any good snow builds on anything. I mean, I know that PC have got like better snow mods than PS4 especially. But to be honest, even the PC snow builds I'd seen were a bit unrealistic. So basically, what happens is, you get a snow mod. Normally, they'll change the texture of the floor like this one does on the PS4, and I think on some of the PC ones they also add snow to like a lot pre-built things as well. But what they don't do, and what they realistically can't ever do, is know which objects are outside and which ones aren't. So they can't really have snow on like player-built stuff, and that's why they don't look realistic to me. So you'll always see these snow builds again, even on PC, and then half the stuff the players built is all completely unsnowed, and then you've got like pre-built stuff that's got snow on it. So it just looks weird. And I wanted to do a build which sort of looks genuinely like it's been in the snow, and in this case it's thawing out, so that was the kind of look I was going for. So that was a thing. Now, I didn't know if it could be done. It was a case of I had to test it out and try things, and I think it turned out that the effect, it's passable. If you get too close you can tell what it is, but yeah, like for the video purposes, I definitely think it worked. Just mention the mod that I'm using. So this ground texture is called Simple Seasons, and it's the winter plugin, obviously. And this is what you're going to get if you get this mod. So you'll just get snow on the ground, and there'll be no snow on the trees or the rocks or anything you place, basically. So you're always going to have this kind of weird look when you sort of use a mod like this. And then to get the effect that I wanted, you're looking at a lot of time. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. It takes a lot of time. There's I think I lost count at about 400 towels and pillows, but there's around 600, I think, at an estimate, of towels, pillows, sheets. Anything white really, bars of soap that are used for the smaller stuff, the railings and whatnot, and yeah, so they're all tilted, like you can see the level of the towels there obviously change for the level of the sloping roof there. So it just takes time. You've got to tilt each one individually, and then that with QwaPA, so that's time consuming. Then you've got to use the place anywhere post then to pick it up and lay each one individually, and you can't get them smooth. If you look really closely, you'll see there's this weird texture going on, and this is one of the things I had to test quite a bit. So I had to just kind of try to see which like configuration worked best. And if you get them really tight, if you pack them in like maybe overlapping a quarter each one, you can get it quite smooth, but you're talking, you know, like 3 times the amount of towels in. And on PC, maybe that's okay, but for PS4, you know, I kind of really have to have in the back of my mind my frame rate and not want to worry about, you know, bogging it down too much if I can help it. So I wanted to spread it out as much as I could, and to save time, of course, as well. You know, like fucking hell, man. I was tilting 20 towels at a time while I was watching other stuff on YouTube and or, you know, messing on my phone and things, just to kind of pass the time, because you know, like I say, you have to come out in and out of workshop mode on PS4. You can't do it all in workshop mode, so each tilt you have to come out and then set it, then come out and come out, and my workshop mode takes about 45 seconds to open. So yeah, so 45 seconds between each tilt, then there's the placing with the post, and then there's the you know, coming back in and starting again. So you're looking at a lot of time just messing around with it. But yeah, so anyway, so once I blanketed it all over with snow, and like I think I got halfway through and realised it looked shit, because having it very even was just unconvincing, basically. So then I decided to do like a thawing effect. And the thawing effect makes it much more passable, especially, I mean, we're looking at it close now, so it looks like shit, but you look at it from over there and it starts to lose all its sort of patterns and lines. You start to see the thawing effect more, and it just sells it a bit better, I think, especially when you've got the heat patches look around where the chimney is, and then the you know, in the eaves of the apex of the roof where the heat would definitely collect. But we'll just have a closer look. And yeah, so you can see that saves me time as well, because I haven't got to, you know, cover every single square inch of it, but at the same time adds realism. So, you know, and obviously I've missed parts that just weren't ever going to be visible, so that also saves time and resources on my processor. But yeah, so like, this is the thing. So yeah, if you ever want to do this, just be prepared, really. I did not have a clue of what I was getting myself into. I knew it was going to be like fiddly and a pain in the ass, but I didn't know it'd be this bad. It's like, it sucked. And then and the other thing is, of course, as well, I built the entire house out of like planks and stuff as well. So there's the fiddling around of getting the building shape right, because if I had to use just preset kind of parts, like most people just snap together stuff, if I'd done that, it probably would have been a lot easier, because a lot of the Fallout has a weird like angles and stuff. Everything's kind of the same angle. So like a tilted roof, a sloped roof is the same slope whether you've got like, you know, like a half piece like that or the actual main roof. So that could save time. But the flip side is, I hate using pre-done stuff, because it just looks too familiar now. This game's like, what, 4 years old? Everybody's seen the same parts. Everyone knows the parts. You know, I haven't used any different parts because, well, it's PS4, you know, there's no external assets allowed. So all the assets are stuff you're going to see in the game. But because of the way I've built it, and because of the way that I've built it out of like familiar parts but used in unfamiliar ways, you know, it's just like a barn piece flipped up, for example. And then, you know, like using the planks and poles to make kind of newer shapes, newer pieces, newer textures. It doesn't look so boring, you know, it's like it's something new. But of course that presents the problems then of having to kind of get the right angle. So I spent ages tilting the roof the roof is actually just made out of barn wall pieces. So, you know, I think there's like 6 in there maybe to get the roof. So yeah, so once I picked the angles, it was a case of like, how big do I make the roof now? And you know, that was like, oh, I need it bigger because I need more space inside, but then there's like more towels you've got to put on. Oh man. So it was a juggling effect is what I'm trying to say. You know, it's just one of those things that you have to mess around with to find the right balance. So just going back to the building, since we're talking about that now. So the building, when I build these kind of buildings, I don't build the building like completely. I don't finish the building basically. I normally build, well in this case I built this side first. So this whole left side was the first side I put in, but they're very basic. They're just the framework. They're not like all detailed, and the walls aren't finished. But what I want to do is I want to get the heights. So I built this first so the roof could sit on something, and then I could get the peak of the roof going up high enough. So I can basically gauge the angle off that. And the reason why I don't finish the building on almost all circumstances is because, well, I change my mind so much, and I think that a lot of the time if I build, like especially with buildings like this that have got so many parts to them, and they're not just pick up part, I can't just pick that wall up, it's made out of lots of different things, like there's boards, planks, like the doors, the greenhouse doors to make the glass. There's lots of different parts to that, so therefore if I want to ever change it, you have to redo a lot of stuff, and believe me, I change my mind a lot. So it's best for me to only finish certain areas that I need to. So like say for the height and the framework, and then once I'm happy with that, then I'll just keep expanding on it. And then the other reason why I do it the way I do is because I find that when I do it that way, I can do the interior based off the site, so I can basically tailor make the interior then, because if you haven't got all the walls in and I want to build a certain set piece, I'm not then thinking, oh well, I didn't plan on building that, so therefore now the room's too small, so I have to then, like say, move walls out and make the place bigger and then adjust everything. Whereas if I just start decorating before even the 2 out of the 4 walls aren't even in, then I can then decorate, and things look like they fit better then, you see, because unlike just placing certain bits of furniture like with staircase and stuff like that, they need to look like they don't completely, like they've not been jammed in a room that's too small. In reality, you just make a smaller staircase, but of course our staircases in this game are all predefined sizes, so you have to work around that. But there's like advantages to doing it that way, and then there's disadvantages. And one of the advantages, obviously all the stuff I mentioned, but one of the disadvantages is that you have to have quite a good visual imagination. You have to be able to picture and have a good idea of the size and things, and where you're going with the build to do it the way I do it, I think. Well, maybe not, I don't know, but for me I can see it, so therefore I can look at an area and I can picture roughly what I want to do, so therefore I can already leave myself enough space. I just don't finish it off, and then I keep just tweaking. But some people might need to build the whole thing first and then stand back and look at it and go, okay, now I know what to work with. Whereas I can see it in my head, so I don't really need to finish it. I already know roughly what I want to do. But whatever works for you, really. I'm just telling you guys what I do and how I approach things. I'm not saying it's the way necessarily to do it. Another reason why I don't do tutorials, because I just think my method isn't that interesting to watch, because you're not looking at a building. You're looking at half a building for ages, and I still might change my mind anyway. So once I've got the the shape and the frame, so then in this case I made sure that the snow was mostly covering the bits I knew were going to stay, so the roof, for example, and then I started to then add detailing where I knew was finished. And in this case it's all just planks, lots and lots of single planks of wood and other stuff under there, just panels and things, just to make it look different, really, and thicker. I don't need these posts necessarily on the edges of the roofs, but it just it fattens it out. It makes it look a bit more sturdy. Does it look that much different without it? I think it does, but not noticeably different in terms of oh, what's that there? It just looks like a big thick piece of wood. Same as the framework of the logs. You don't necessarily need it. I take that out, the shape's still there, but then you put that in, it looks stronger. And there's a thing to having supports in that just makes your buildings look a little bit more Now, that wouldn't fall down if I didn't have that support there. That would probably hold itself up in real life. But again, it just goes to make the building look a bit more structurally sound. Things like the guttering on the roof as well, just made out of little tilted planks. But again, adds to like the realism, so the water drains off, you know, fills this little what do we call, like a water reservoir, buttress or whatever, and you know, provides you with some drinking water, so it just adds a little bit of realism. But yeah, so so basically the thing I'm trying to say is I don't build stuff, I don't finish things, I kind of like add to them as I go along, and it helps me kind of create a more perfect looking, like it was meant to be. Although nothing about obviously Fallout stuff is perfect, everything's meant to look like shit, but like but yeah, it's kind of like, I like it to look like it's all been built over time and like it's evolved, that nobody has come in with a big, like how today's construction's done, it's all organised. I like it to look like this guy's put it together over time, and I just find that building it in little stages helps me do that. So okay, I'm wondering, so I want to cover all this stuff outside that you probably maybe didn't see in the video tour, because I know that sometimes like people prefer me to do the narrated tours as well, but it kind of makes the behind the scenes, like I've got less to talk about then, so I want to make sure that you guys see everything that you maybe missed. There's little things I did on this, like there's little fungus and stuff that I put under there, and this trash stuff. So this is from CVA, Custom Vanilla Assets. All my mods are in the description, by the way. Yeah, stuff like this I put in there. You probably would never notice this, but I noticed it because the snow mod doesn't know that there's a house there, so it just obviously covers everywhere. So when you remove that, there's snow underneath my house. There's another bit of trash that's further back, but you could see that snow going all the way under, basically, like you can now. Stuff like that just again broke my immersion. They're very subtle things that you would never really notice maybe straight away, but you'd maybe subconsciously notice it. And I do a lot of things for subconscious stuff, like the fungus I added to the walls there, and the walls themselves. I'll get to that, but yeah, so like the fungus has got snow on it. If I remove it, you'll see it's just, again, it's pillows. Now I could have just put the fungus on and no snow, but again, you know, you can't, as soon as you start adding snow to stuff, you can't start leaving stuff out. You've got to try and you've got to go all the way, man. You've got to follow through. So yeah, so like it was a case of like everything I added cautiously, knowing that I was going to have to either cover this in snow, or I added things purposely to be covered in snow. In fact, there's a lot of stuff actually that I put down on purpose because I knew it would look, it would fit the snow into. So like this pram, for example, you know, it's very square, rectangular shapes, so I knew the snow would like lie in there quite well. The towels, the barrel just seemed to be the perfect width for the towels. So again, I added things that I knew I could easily cover, because I can't rescale objects on PS4. I've said this I think in other videos, but yeah, I can't stress to enough how jealous I am of the one thing that I would ever consider, well, I'm never going to switch to anything else, but yeah, one thing I would ever consider doing that with is just to be able to rescale. I could do so much with that feature. I literally think my builds are creative now. You give me rescaling, I'll show you creativity. but yeah, so basically, yeah, it's kind of like there was method to all the things I planted down, you know, ahead of time, kind of like thinking, oh, I can fit snow in that, so I'll use that. And yeah, I kind of wanted the right amount of stuff outside as well to pass off the fact that there's snow falling and it's thawing out. So like, obviously there's no snow here, but there's, you know, thawed and trodden down looking snow was what I was trying to go for. The steps and stuff were a bit of a head scratch, because I was going to have a ramp, because ramps just obviously easier to cover with these objects, but the ramp looks shit, so I had the steps. But the steps you know, you can kind of just about, I think I've hidden it quite well. They're not very thick, so when you put an object on them, that you can just about see under it. I had to keep readjusting that, but I think yeah, you can't really see it. So I think I managed to not clip it through too much. The trees, man, the trees. Oh well, I'm not 100% happy with how I've done the trees, to be honest. But every time I tried to do different ways of making it look like it had kind of thawed down the tree, it just didn't really work. The pillows, they've got pointy corners, and there's only so much tilting before those corners are going to always stick out. So you kind of yeah, you're a bit limited with the angles on some of the stuff with it, really, and like trying to get it to kind of sit between this tarp, you know, this tent here, you know, things like that, to kind of just you'd be surprised how long I spent messing around with that kind of shit, really. It's just to try and get it to look right. Right, what else out here? The fish, I placed those. And not that is that impressive, but just in case you wonder, there's no fish. When you get to this location, there's just some trees and this bit of water. That's all there is here, so it's pretty bare. But the features, like the fishing like spot, I've changed that. So in the video, you see the passage of time. You see it go from summer, you see it go through over the months to autumn to winter. Like basically, like I wanted to show, you know, like how the environment changes and how it affects the survivor. You know, how the hunting goes from bigger game in the summer to, like, obviously food gets a bit more scarce, and he's going down from, like, I think a Yao guy at the start to rabbits and fishing and things in the winter. So so yeah, so I wanted this to change as well. So at the start, I think you'll see that there's very little bottles and things here, and the umbrellas open in the rainy period or the sunny period, I can't remember. And then as time goes on, obviously, like, you know, the bottles will add up, and there's little touches like that you may not notice again. But yeah, like this plant, this potted plant, for example. But yeah, this has leaves on, for example, in the summer, and I've switched it out for a dead one for the winter, things like that. There's lots of little bits. I think if you go back and watch it, you'll probably notice more, you know, each time you watch it, really. There's tiny little subtle changes. Yeah, so I want to just mention this because I'm looking at it from over there. This little area here, I didn't really need to expand much from the house, but I wanted something else to look at, just so it wasn't just a house and there's nothing else, you know. So, like, I thought a hot tub would be cool, something to have, like, you know, especially in you know, cold times somewhere. Not like this is like a wash area, basically. You've got like an outhouse and the bath area, and I thought it'd be cool to have it heated. So yeah, so it's just a little barrel under there, and the little steam effect is from I was going to say CVA, but I'm not sure if it is from CVA. There's definitely steam in CVA, so, but I'm not sure if I actually use the CVA one. And yeah, so I just thought it'd be cool to have that. So you get your, obviously, let it heat up the water, and then put the fire out, get in, so you don't sit there boiling. There's a little, like, steam vent as well. I can't imagine it's like piped under there, so you can yeah, you can either use it to heat water up, or you can have a bath in it. And then the barbecue, I wanted to do a 2-tier barbecue for ages. I had plans to do this in other builds. I think I've messed around with other builds as well, but for whatever reason, in other builds, they just didn't quite fit or suit their style. And I just thought, you know what, I'm just going to do the 2-tier barbecue and get a working finished version of it that I've messed around with. And yeah, so this is the product of that. Really like the way it looks. I just think it looks cool having a little 2-tier thing. Dead easy to make. It's got the pipe grill from CVA, that is from the pipe section. It's just got a regular barrel underneath for the you know, the embers, and then the cooking little bit there, that's a trash can lid. Don't know why the little spatula thing stuck to it that doesn't come with it. Obviously, I'll just put that on there, and then yeah, the cooking pot itself, which I've just used for the chains. That is from my requested mod. It's called Fallout 4 Guy Requested Parts, and it's by Toys Out of the Pram, or OICTOOTP. It's such a weird name. But yeah, his mod's great. Again, it's in my description, that mod. I've put a link directly to the mod because people say it's hard to find because it's in the work in progress section, so you can't type it in, you have to kind of manually search. But yeah, I've put a link for that, and it's just got a bunch of requested stuff from myself and Werty, Perty, another great builder, and yeah, so they're easy to use. And then you just got counters on there just to give the little lip around the edge. I think that's it out here really. I will mention the old dog sled because I wasn't going to build this. I'm in a Discord group with other brilliant builders, probably the best builders I think in the world, all completely underrated obviously, as the greatest always are, and yeah, this is like a private Discord chat, so I sometimes share my work in progress. I don't always share work in progress. I like to kind of just build and then show them the end result, but sometimes I do share my work in progress, and this one I did because it was the towels and I wanted to kind of show how it was looking. And of course, being the dickheads that they are, they were like, oh, you need a snowmobile. I was like, what? No, I don't need a goddamn snowmobile. I always build vehicles, and I know that people kind of know me for building my vehicles, and I kind of hate it actually, because I think I'm a much better builder than just some vehicles, but yeah, that's kind of what I'm known for, so whatever. And they were like, build a snowmobile, and I was like, nah, I don't want any vehicles. This guy who lives here wouldn't really have, he's not the kind of guy to have a snowmobile. It just doesn't, you know, it doesn't fit. And then I think it was Donald Strong, then we went, oh, dog sled. I was like, yeah, dog sled could work. So as much as I liked the idea, that I thought, yeah, it's a good idea, I still didn't want to build a goddamn dog sled because I knew what I was going to have to do. So yeah, so that's where this idea came from. So it was thanks Donald. No, actually I'm joking. I actually appreciate the idea because it does look good. So you just said build a sled. He didn't say what kind. I just then took it upon myself to kind of make this kind of shape. I don't really know what dog sleds look like, you know, how they work. Obviously I'm from the UK, we don't really have dog sleds over here, but I had a little look on Pinterest and saw that, you know, there was quite a varied style, and this sort of A-framed Type 1 is just a combination of a whole different bunch of dog sleds that I saw. I'm going to get rid of that stupid rope, it's pissing me off. Okay, now I can highlight stuff. So yeah, so you can see it's all different little pieces of wood, and they're all like just tilted different angles to make the A-frame, to make it look sturdy. And then you've got like a track at the back of it. They have like little foot rests where you stand, like rubber, normally rubber bits, obviously stop it slipping off. And I'll just use these. Again, these are from my requested mod. I think they're in Werty's section actually. This thing, there's some kind of like machinist part or something, I don't know, but they just looked like they were passable for the foot things to stand on. The hand guards are like that's a hammer, the handle, and then the hand guard you can see is the DC guards, you know, the shoulder pieces and stuff. And we've got some hacksaws in there for handles, for another handle, different hand positions. There's lots of armor parts in here actually as well, like that little tool belt thing from the operators. These little bits here, the operators armbands, they just look like, you know, sometimes they have like more like medieval type designs where they have like metal that's wrapped around the wood to kind of hold it together, give it a bit of strength. I just thought that looked like it would do that. More armor parts there, as you can see. The hooks, I don't really know how the dogs would be tethered on, so I just kind of put hooks and loops, you know, where I could, where the ropes look like they would feed through. I didn't want to have dogs tied to it either outside, because, you know, that's just cruel. So like, yeah, I thought it'd be best just to have it look like it was giving the idea, like I had some rope on there to just remove, and their dog collars and things gives the idea that the dogs are not being used yet. But yeah, so that's something that like got added right at the end. In fact, while I'm talking about adding right at the end, the video itself wasn't, well, I wasn't gonna do the video I did. I was gonna just do a normal tour with like, you know, just panning shots and the usual stuff. But I shared some kind of earlier shots on Reddit and Facebook, and wow, it was underwhelming to say the least. Especially Reddit. Reddit's a really strange place. If any of you guys, any other builders especially, know what I'm talking about with Reddit, where you share a picture or a screenshot or even your video or whatever, and Reddit just, man, it's like playing roulette with your screenshots on Reddit. You never know. There's actually no method behind what people think is good and what they don't. They'll give 600 upvotes to like a fucking shack. Yeah, man, not even a shack. I seen one the other day. In fact, this was, I'm having a little rant now. This was at about the same time. So I shared a shot. I can't remember. I think I shared like this kind of shot. So you didn't really see any interior. You just saw that kind of shot, and it was like I'd done the lighting in the day. It was like a dusk shot, I think, or the sun was going down. It was a great shot. You've probably already seen it somewhere else if you follow me on Instagram and stuff as well. But yeah, so I've done this cool shot, and it was like, if it was anything, it was scenic, you know. It was a beautiful image, and it got like 18 upvotes in 2 days, and no comments. And when I say no comments, 0 comments. I've never shared anything on Reddit that got no comments. Bizarre. So anyway, so like somebody shared like a picture of a goddamn generator. I'm not joking, a generator just there, and he'd done some wiring or something on it, and it's like, yeah, 600 upvotes and like 55 comments. I was like, what the fuck? Honestly, I just don't understand. So anyway, that kind of pissed me off, because I was like, well, what do I need to do? Like, do I need to tell people it's this snow, or are they looking at it and not understanding that the snow isn't a mod, or I don't know? And a very similar thing on Facebook as well. And I even commented on my own Facebook post. I was the first one to comment on that. Again, that was up for 2 days, and just said, you know, guys, how come no one's asked me? I've got like snow, and it's like PS4 on my roofs and stuff. And then people were, I did get some feedback saying, oh, I thought it was a mod, that's why I didn't. I was like, what, mod? PS4? No. So yeah, so that kind of made me think. And then I spoke in my Discord group again about it. Well, I kind of shared the Reddit thing and saying, look at this, no comments. And they kind of said the same thing. They just said it looks too good. You know, people aren't going to necessarily think you've done that because it looks kind of too natural. And that made me think then, that yeah, I need to do something else with this video now, because it clearly wasn't the conversation piece I thought it would be. And it was yeah, it was one of those things that kind of, I was like, well, what can I do now with the video? And the passage of time idea came to me from that. So yeah, it was Angela in the Discord chat that actually said it looked too natural, that it needed something doing. Commonwealth Courier, actually, sorry, on YouTube, I should have said that. But yeah, so like she was like, yeah, it looks too natural. So I was like, oh, what can I do? So it made me go back, and I hadn't recorded the video then, but I was ready. It was finished, the build was finished. And then I thought, yeah, this passage of time. So then what I had to do, so I recorded all the winter scenes first. Everything that had the snow in and stuff, I recorded all that first, and then went back and then deleted all the snow, took everything off, took all the, like every single piece. And that was an eye-opener for me then. I realised how much goddamn things were there, because it took me ages to delete everything one by one. And then once everything was deleted, I took the mod off, and then changed with the simple seasons mod. You've got plugins and you can change, to have like an autumn or like a more summery looking one. So change each one and recorded different sections, and then went through the build with each change to slightly alter. Like obviously I took the sled completely out. So you might think I did the video like in the order that you see it in, but that is actually backwards. So I took stuff out that wouldn't need to be there in the snow, and like I mentioned, the umbrella and things changed, all that kind of stuff, and yeah, so took some of the plants, the fungus isn't there. I think I took all that out, stuff like that. Yeah, but anyway, like, long story short, I'm so glad that I kind of did that, because the video, in my opinion, is one of my best videos I think I've done, and I may do more narrative style videos in the future. I don't know. It just fit this build anyway. But anyway, I needed the contrast. That was the whole point of me rambling on for 10 minutes there. I needed the contrast. I needed to show people that this, you know, having it start off without the snow and then obviously later then evolving into the snow, I think it showed. If I'd have just done a tour where I just look around and there's snow everywhere, I really don't think people would have really understood what they're looking at. And that's no offense to people that didn't understand, but you know, at the end of the day, I am not a builder for you know, beginners. You don't come to my channel and try to recreate this stuff if you just get into building. I'm fully aware that, like, you know, my stuff is, you know, it's not basic stuff. So yeah, so sometimes I kind of do things that people just look at and think, what the hell? I don't even know. Is that a mod or what? I don't really understand. But yeah, at the same time, like, I want obviously people to recognise what's happened, but of course, the other thing is I want it to look so seamless that you don't. It's kind of like a double-edged sword, really. But anyway, I think I've covered everything outside, and I think it's time to end this video. And on part 2, I can then move on to the interior, and yeah, talk about that now. So I'll just have a little walk around just before I say goodbye, but I think I've pretty much talked about everything. The treehouse, I don't think I need to mention the treehouse. Again, that was just briefly, like, well, I'm one of these people that I walk around after I think I've finished a build, and I walk around for like an hour looking at what I believe is finished, and then look at it, and I am one of these that goes, yeah, it's shit. My build's shit. This is the most garbage build anyone's ever done. It needs more, and yeah, I'm bad for that. Like, even at this stage, I think I'm looking around thinking, yeah, could have done more. But yeah, my girlfriend, like, you know, thinks I'm a sort of like a masochist, because I always, like, end up having to, like, just actually, yeah, I will talk about one more thing as well, just as an example. So I've got all the roof covered, I've got everything pretty much, you know, I'm quite deep in the build now. The actual, everything's there, you know, the building's all there, it's complete, and I'm looking at it and I'm going, and my girlfriend's here sitting in the room next to me when she's listening to me, like, and I'm looking at it and she's like, oh, what? I'm like, yeah, it's shit. The roof's shit. And she's like, what do you mean? I was like, no, I said, the roof it's boring. It's boring. All, you know, it just looks garbage. And it didn't have this dormer window in, basically, and it needed a dormer window. It just needed it. Don't know, like, why. I thought it just needed something. So I was like, yeah, I need to rip that roof out. And she was like, oh my god, are you mad? I was like, yeah, I've got to take all that snow off, and yeah, I'll do things like that. So yeah, I had to build the dormer window. So that's just one example of, like, how I'll change things. And the tree was, you know, like an afterthought, but it just needed something there. And it was a case of, like, I'll look around and think, something not quite, it's lacking a little bit. So I just built this little tree house for that purpose, really. I thought it was, you know, it's got a purpose. It, like, looks out upon the, you know, the kind of the attack point, if you like. I mean, nothing's really going to come much from over that hill there, but this little area, there's a lot of buildings and stuff people can come from, so it kind of makes sense. And then I put this little bit of netting up just because, you know, like, you see that in kind of military camouflagey type stuff where they'll put, like, nets because it breaks the lines up. And so you just climb up here, and then you put your foot on that little angled bit of wood, and then you get through the hole in the net, and then you're up there and you can kind of have a look out. And yeah, and I just use these little bits of rope to kind of support it, make it look like it's tied on. That's just, again, that's from my requested Fallout 4 Go requested parts. And yeah, that's it. It's pretty simple, really. I don't really need to tell you how to build it. I'm just telling you why. Sometimes I put these things in, they always come as an afterthought, like some of that stuff. Anyway, really, I'm going now. So yeah, so I'll see you in part 2. please like and subscribe and all that good stuff. I say that at the end of the videos most of the time, just because believe it or not, there's a lot of people that watch my stuff that don't subscribe. You naughty people. But yeah, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you and bye for now.